What is a line? We perceive lines everywhere, every day. They delicately define almost all aspects of our very existence, where we came from, where we're going. They linger in the margins of our awareness, an illusion, a mere suggestion of connectivity in the space where surfaces touch, where walls caress the ceiling. The horizon, a seamless transition painted by the hands of distance contrasting the earth and whatever lies beyond. Yet, within these elusive strokes, we find ourselves tethered, like threads that weave the very fabric of our existence. We stand in line, fall in line, toe the line, and dare to cross the line. And yet, do we ever really, truly, pause to read between the lines? To recognise the nuanced poetry etched within the sidelines of our very existence? To look beyond what we see, what we hear, what we feel? To look at why, to look at how, to look at who? We make up sounds reflecting a set of letters, ordered into words, ordered into a set of words, which themselves are just a series of lines connected together, moulded into different shapes. Over time, we've expanded and evolved these set of visual sounds, written, communicated, and translated them through time and space. The movement of limbs and control of breath, carefully coordinated and timed to speak in a way that words can never understand. Each slightest difference, a whole new meaning, and yet potentially non-existent. Like delicate tendrils, nerve endings transform vibrating waves in the air into ethereal electrical whispers, each gently cradled by our minds and transformed into words written emotionally in our souls. And yet, we have written whole languages and built whole cultures around these imagined sounds, from the very beginning of humanity to the very moment we stand now. All the little things, pieces that make up the world around us, we take what was once old and make it new again. We find new ways to take something someone else created and breathe new life into it, translate it into a modern era. And why do we do this? Why do we gravitate to these convergences in man and nature? How does something so small mean a whole lot to so many people? Why do we find the power to make these things? How do we find the power? Where does it come from? We hide ourselves, we reinvent ourselves, we invent whole new people, and we comfort in that. We find a place to escape reality in imagined realities, no matter whether those realities are better or worse than our own. We have one body, yet we are infinite people, with infinite faces and infinite thoughts, hiding behind a single set of finite features sculpted by a hand that we'll never know or see, hiding in the spaces between atoms. And somewhere inside of someone is a place where we don't have to choose which face we are wearing today. Whole worlds exist in our minds, in the same places between the same atoms. Sparks of electricity shape our whole existence, our memory, our past, present and future, and many others. The whole fundamental objectivity of the universe can coalesce with that which exists only within our minds. We, the dreamers, we who move the wheel, we who keep our world moving ever forward. We're all scientists, all of us mathematicians, all engineers, whether or not we realise it. Sometimes we keep this buried inside of us, and sometimes we find a way to free the electrical currents from the prisons in our mind and let them roam in someone else's, to fuel the very essence of someone else, to find some kind of connection, some kind of line. not just into someone's mind, but into someone's soul. Like a cog in a moving machine, moving with all the other little cogs as they mesh together to interact with people beyond any kind of border, people who have never and will never meet. To interact, to know, to understand someone without ever meeting in a physical presence, or even ever knowing that the other exists. To escape monotony, or thrive in it. To catch a glimpse of something that isn't one thing to the next on repeat. To preserve something, a thought, a feeling, a vision. To capture it momentarily and let someone else fully understand it themselves. Weary but unafraid, together. We interpret and realise something in a form that words cannot. And for what? For the constant that endlessly endures, the one part of us everyone else has. Families, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, strangers, societies. And what binds us together? Blood, relation, emotion, the people tethered to the world we walk in. Without people, we find it hard to exist at all, even within our minds. They are our life's moments, our life's beats, our build-ups and our payoffs. They define who we are. Another living, breathing being with free will. The product of time, place, and millions of years of energy and evolution. And yet they are fragile. What continues when people don't? What is the soundtrack to all human existence? What is it that makes us who we are, how we are, why we are? The through line, the pulse, the invisible thin red thread that connects us all, the lifeline that keeps us going. We who do not go gentle into that good night, we who rage against the dying of the light. We are a product of all those who came before us, of everything that has ever happened, of every single birth and death, of everything that has ever started and everything that has ever ended. A single finite point on an infinite line of all human existence. A line that runs parallel to time, yet perpendicular to everything else in it. We, the only things that don't obey the natural order of the universe, that has broken free from the confines of physics to be something more, living within it. With a consciousness that allows us to think freely, invent what was once a thought, communicate in the most intricate form of language, in images, in words, in symbols, in sound, in faces, in eyes, in touch, in love, in anger, in sadness, in adoration, in pride. And the one thing that separates us, the fragile, thin line that persists only through us and our connections with others, is art. What is a line?